How great was that? All right, I am Alan Sepinwall. It is my distinct pleasure to have the cast and creator of Pluribus. Let's start off. She played Zosha, Karolina Wydra. She is your star as Carol Sturka, Rhea Seehorn. The creator, executive producer, writer, director, I think he maybe handles the craft services too, Vince Gilligan. Okay.
Hey, nice.
Rhea, I want to know, Vince reaches out to you and says, I have this show. What did he tell you about what the show was?
Nothing. Literally said nothing. He said, I wrote something for you if you're interested. The second half of that sentence is amazing. I was like, yes. Wait, yeah. Well, I cried and then I said yes. And then, honestly, I did. And then you said, I don't want to pitch it to you, though. I want you to just read the first script. I was like, oh, okay, but still yes. And you're like, well, I'm not ready to send you the script. And I was like, it's okay, but yes. And you were like, well, you can think about it. And I'm like, I don't care if I'm playing like a park bench. Like, it's fine. But so then I get the script. What do you think, a month later?
Yeah, I have no memory of time anymore. But I'll take your word for it. Yes, that sounds about right.
I don't know. We were in Lost in Space. So then I got the script and I was like, this is bananas. This is like, but I also didn't have any more past one. And as you guys saw, like, it's a little bit of its own self-contained
I didn't give you the first two. I just gave you the first one. Okay,
One.
right, yeah.
One. So, yeah, I was trying to figure out where it went, but I was just immediately like, honestly, my first thought was, holy crap, this is I would watch this show. Like, I'm obsessed. And I knew he was going to play with tone and genre and tropes and take it a different direction than you think. And I could see the comedy by the end when the television comes in. And I was like, oh my God, I would love this show. And then I was like, oh my God, I get to play this show. And then I was like, oh my God, how am I going to play this show? was my third thought.
So Rhea seems like she was completely unprepared for the task at hand. So why would you want her to
Thank
to
you
play
so
this
much.
character?
I know. I was trying to think of a funny line, but I can't. But I just, no, I mean, I wrote this for Rhea because she's just, she's just brilliant, as you can see, as you saw. Yeah. And yeah. I had been lucky to know her and work with her for so many years, and then we got to meet the lovely Karolina, and she is just magnificent as well. So just I like to feel like won the lottery. Just the luckiest guy ever. So.
I want to say something. The woman that played my wife and developed an entire character in a
who's
short
incredible.
period of time
Where is she?
is
Oh my
Miriam
God!
Shore.
Oh!
Miriam Shore!
Miriam Shore, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Miriam Shore, everybody.
National treasure right there.
Well, see, and I was looking right at her, and I didn't. And it's like because when you're up here, you're just like you just don't really. It's like get face blindness or something. It's weird.
She's doing
Thank you for
sexy
being
vibe
here.
instead of buffer for Carol for the world vibe.
You're so good in this show. It's the truth.
It is. You are.
So, Rhea, you spent many years working with this gentleman here, sort of realizing how good he is at telling stories. He comes to you and says, I have written a part for you. You read the script. It is a solo lead show where you're basically asked to do everything. How does it feel to know that, like, he wanted you for this and he trusted you for this?
So you're just trying to make me cry, right? Like,
Yeah.
Everybody here knows I don't care what line of work you're in. Like, the people that are your heroes, if they want to work with you, is one thing. If another thing is they say, I actually believe that you can do even more than you believe you can do, is a lot to take in. But he's incredible. Thank you. You know that, but thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for making me look like I've made a good choice here. Yeah.
But also, like, I gotta say, like, I was thrilled. Like, I've been in this for 30 some years, and doing drama and comedy, and like going back and forth, and then suddenly the Bialy Thomas casting people are here. Here's Sherry. Who else do we have?
Oh my God.
Hi, Sherry.
So
Jesus, I swear. Well, you're all backlit.
I had the great
sorry.
fortune of doing a bunch of sitcoms when I was moved to LA with a show called I'm With Her. Yeah. Yeah. Like 20 something years ago, and I had been doing theater for a long time, doing drama and comedy, and it wasn't a big deal. But then you got pigeonholed, not just as comedic, but sitcom actor. And Bialy Thomas casting is one of the places that did not do that. And they would call me in for dramas, for comedies, large parts, small parts, wackadoo parts. I know I went in at least once, if not twice, for you for a part that had been cast already in Deadline with a celebrity's name, and you guys were like, but they might back out. So it's a backup thing. And I would come in and like still try my best. And you guys would direct me, and we'd get to do multiple takes. And then you and Peter called them from Albuquerque, and we're looking at our tapes, because I had gone in for Better Call Saul, and asking about me and my work. What is she like in drama? What is she like if she does this? Does she take direction? What's her work ethic like? And Sharon and Sherry and Russell Scott told me, we told them about, I had never booked work with them. I had worked, but not through Bialy Thomas casting for 9 years. And she said, we told them about 9 years of your work that had been for an audience of 3, just them, which on paper were my failures, but helped me get the job. And I credit casting people that care about that creativity.
Yes.
If it is a...
Yeah, it's incredible. No, it's incredible. What's wild to me is like when I would talk to you and we had conversations about you being a lead and all these things, and I only see you as a leading lady. You are meant to be a leading lady. You're magnificent, truly. Like, I'm always on set. I was always in awe of you, your commitment, passion, dedication, and what you brought to every take. It was so different, so powerful. Like, I'm truly in awe of you.
Thank you.
I'm just in love with you.
And I got to tell you, from the point of view of someone who does what I do, casting is what Sherry and Sharon and Russell I've been working with them for almost 20 years now, and they are my secret weapon, our secret weapon, on now 3 shows and 1 movie, because if you cast the wrong people, it doesn't matter if you're Stanley Kubrick or whatever, you're in trouble. Conversely, when you cast the right people, it makes you look like you're really smart and like you're really good at your job, and it's your actors who were well cast in the first place who are just making you look good, and you get to sit back and eat a hot dog or on set. And so, I mean, all joking aside, seriously, thank you, Sherry, and is Sharon and Russell here? No. Okay, but it's God, what is more important than the script is important, the casting is important. The other stuff is actually weirdly not as important. I mean, it's all important. That's a terrible thing, but I mean,
Vince Gilligan slams all other departments.
I shouldn't have said it that way. Everything's important, but if you don't have the casting and you have a good script, you're still going to be in trouble. Whatever. I've talked too much. You got questions for me? So, yeah.
I have questions about casting, but we're going to start with Karolina. From your perspective, like, did they give you a script? Did they give you sides? Like, how did you first learn that this was a role for you, and what did you learn about it when?
So when I got the audition, it was a scene from an episode 3, and I had no idea what it was, this world was about. I knew a tiny bit about the character as far as their quality of who she is, because I remember the scripts were not given out, so I had to make it my own, the scenes for the audition. And again, thank you, Sherry, if I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you and Sharon and Russell, because at the time when I got the audition, I didn't have representation. And so if it wasn't for them remembering me from previous auditions and previous jobs, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to even read for this.
You mean like you didn't have a reel? Like, was that what you mean?
No, meaning like I didn't have an agent or a manager.
You didn't have representation.
No, I didn't. So I couldn't even.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Would you have hired her if you'd known that?
No, absolutely not.
Damn
you have to
it.
have an agent.
No.
That's a joke. That's
You're
a
like,
joke.
wait, what?
I didn't know that, though. My God,
I
see,
didn't. No, so seriously, like, if it wasn't for you guys and you guys requested a tape from me and I got it through my commercial agent that I don't really work with, but randomly, I'm sorry, but it's true. And so I got an opportunity to read for this. And when I got it, I knew it was for Vince Gilligan. I was like, Vince Gilligan, what? Like, oh my God, I get to audition for Vince Gilligan? Oh my God, it was a dream come true. And so anyway, I'm going off the thing. Okay, I'm going to go back to so I auditioned for it. And then when I tested for it, I got to read the first 2 episodes. And my mind was just blown by what Vince created, the world, and who Zosha is. And, you know, I get to beat the world and be the smartest person in the world and get to do the best things ever. You know, I can do anything, perform open heart surgery and be the best surgeon. I can be the greatest pilot. You know,
but it's got to be tough because I mean, we had lots of conversations. How the hell do you do that? It's and you do a great job of it. It's like how do you represent every single living person in the world?
It's an incredible concept. I think all the conversations we've had of who they are and how they move about the world and how, you know, they're so content and happy and peaceful and they're just have serenity throughout their body. And so how do you know?
And when I wanted to give you shit, I would say, but you also have all of the world's dumbasses in your mind
do.
as well. So just
they're all living in there.
But you did.
And I'm like, shh, shh.
So as humans, you know, we tend to, your human nature is to mirror each other, right? Like to mirror emotions, mirror where the conversation is going, the facial gestures. As an actor, that's your biggest tool. She had to be a sentient being that's highly intelligent, has compassion, is thoughtful, not high, not a robot, and take on Carol, but not reciprocate the emotions, which was very difficult. And we had brilliant people that came in when you tested, but you threaded that needle beautifully. And then watching you over 9 episodes.
Thank you.
Modulate that with Vince and the other. I just think it's one of the most deceptively difficult and beautifully executed things.
Oh, thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. She said it so well. Thank you, Ray. Thank you.
And Karolina,
And when you have her as a partner, it's just like, you know, it's just.
let's talk about that. What is it like playing scenes with Ray? And then
It's-
Ray, what
it's
is it
a
like playing scenes with
dream.
Karolina?
It's a dream, and not to be so effusive and just like doting over you, but it's true. It's such a treat when you have you're working with someone opposite someone that is so giving, so caring. And, you know, we would have these conversations like, if you're good and I'm good, the scene is good, the show is good, you know? And so it's just like, we would really show up for each other all the time. And we would talk about the scenes outside of the set, and we would rehearse a lot, and we would run lines. And, you know, Ray would always make me feel safe, and she would always make me feel a part of, and never silly, and you're always giving so much, always. And I just, I'm so incredibly grateful to you. So it was really special to have a partner to work with that is so incredible, you know. And when you work with someone so incredible, you also want to be like, I want to be better and better and better and better and better. And like, I want to, you know, yeah. So that was my experience. Very special. So thank you. Yeah.
And Ray?
She's a shit show. No, she's like, she's amazing, and I appreciate all the lovely things that people are saying about me. But I mean, I started in theater, but I think the same thing in film and television. This is a collaborative art form, and if you don't think it's collaborative, I really wish you'd get out. Like, it's like we're all here for each other, and I also know what, and Bob Odenkirk would do this, and Patrick Fabian, and our cast on Salt. We all had been working so long. I know what it's like to come into a sandpit where everybody knows each other, and you're terrified, and you don't know everybody. I also know what it's like to be a guest star on Law and Order, where you've got to do the biggest arc to 0 to 100 and come down, and you've only done it by yourself in a hotel room. It's terrifying. It's terrifying, and our show is better. Our scenes are better if you get to have the best chance you could at doing a great job. And I want to play against people that are as comfortable as they can be and as open as they can be. And she's a brilliant actress, and so is Miriam and all the other guest stars we had. And I'm just like, I can't believe I get to like act with these people. So thank you for saying those things. I wish it wasn't an anomaly, but I don't really understand the other way of working. But thank you for saying that. I just like, I don't know, like we all win when we like support each other.
It's true. And just to add to that, it is what's spectacular about you too, because I watch you and I observe how you are on set, and anybody that would come in, you go up to them, you say hi, and you do ask them, do you want to run lines? Do you want to talk about the scene? And it's sad to say that it's rare, but people come, like if it's a guest and they're like, okay, let's go. We gotta, and then people don't even introduce themselves and make you feel like you're so welcomed in this whole, thing. And so,
but specifically her, shit show. No, no, she's and like, as I said, the threading the needle of like, how do I make this person sentient? And then also we're not playing the comedy, but because Vince was doing this thing that's so hard to do, and you do so well of like changing tone, because we all watch shows where you're like, I don't think this show knows what it wants to be. Or you watch a show where you're like, I like all these people, but they're all in different shows. They're not doing the same show. It's so hard. Tone is so hard. It's very hard to discuss. It's very hard to pin down. And you're directing them. We would do takes, because you did tell me like, some of the tone we need to find. We're going to find it. So you might do something that's, what'd you say, take it till it breaks?
Well, yeah, I say take it till it breaks a lot, but there's an old photographic term, bracketing, which is you bracket the exposure. You take a bunch of shots of the thing you want to shoot, you underexpose it by a stop, 3/4 of a stop, half stop, overexpose it. But we would also, because we were finding the tone, we didn't know it just from the script.
Right.
We kind of had to discover it, and you kind of had this one a little bigger, a little whatever, a little this, a little hint into this emotion.
We
a little
did
hint
scenes
of that.
where like I think I don't know. I was like, do you want to do it like we're in a Michael Lee film? Like it was like as bleak and dark as you could be, and then it was like, how far can the comedy go? Now, how do you make a scene that can support the darkest and the lightest within that same scene? And I remember coming to you and telling you, hey, if you start getting a lot of direction that's very fine-tuning, modulating, do yourself a favor. That it would be the same thing going on in my head, is resist the urge to turn in on yourself and think, holy crap, I'm not delivering. He cannot get what he wants from me. That's why I'm getting so much direction. I said, Vince will give you that amount of direction when you are talented enough to modulate and fine tune. And if you can get over that, it will be one of the best experiences of your whole life to like push yourself and try new things. And you can try something out and have it like not land, and no one's going like, ooh, made a mistake with that one. It's more like, great, that doesn't work. Let's try this. Let's try that. Let's try that. And you were always ready to play. And you're a gal's gal, which I love.
I am a girl's girl.
I just like, I don't understand
that.
Women that don't love women. I don't get it. Like we were like, whatever. Yeah, let's.
Because we're awesome. We are.
So then we realized the comedy, like immediately we were like, there's almost like a straight man funny, because Carol's kind of a spaz sometimes when she's upset. She's very reactive, and just comedically on the plane, like I could hear without us playing the comedy, I was just like, this is a gem. You're a gem. and so incredible to work with.
Oh God, thank you.
Now, Karolina, Ray talked before about like being the new kid in the sandbox. These two work together for a long time. They basically can communicate like telepathically at this point. It's like they're joined via the psychic glue. What was it like for you to come into this relationship? Vince has been working with some of this crew for almost 20 years, and you're the new kid.
I was so nervous. I was really nervous, but they all made me feel so welcomed. Vince, you made me from the start. You made me feel welcome. Ray, you're just so wonderful to be part of a group of people that are so excited to be there. And all the Albuquerque crew, everyone is like so hardworking, and they work long hours with such joy every day. And it was really incredible to come to something that I didn't feel. At first, obviously, because I'm a newbie, but I never felt like a newbie because they welcomed me right away. And it was just such a safe environment to play in. And, you know, with Vince, he always welcomes your ideas. He never makes you feel silly or weird about them. He's just like, yeah, that's an interesting idea, you know? And it's so collaborative. It was really, really special. And these two, watching them work together was incredible. Your guys' language and just like the notes that Vince would give you, and every take you would just take it and it was just different and different and different. It was just, I was like a kid in the candy store, just watch them, just like, that's so cool. It's just beautiful.
I didn't
it's such
know
a
this,
beautiful
but apparently
relationship.
Karolina told me that we don't speak in full sentences sometimes. I was not aware of this. That you're like, why don't we? And I'm like, what's that? And you're like, yeah, but not. And I'm like, yeah, and it's what, but yeah, but not like, and then we're like, go.
Exactly.
Vince,
I
tell
hadn't
me.
noticed that either.
I
yeah.
did not know.
No, I mean, it is like you're joined. But Vince, tell me, when you're directing Karolina, when you're directing the extras, when you're directing anyone on the show who is playing someone who is not like Carol, who is part of this hive mind, what are you sort of trying to get out of them in terms of, because they're all in theory the same now, but you have different actors playing them, doing different things. Like, how do you get that?
I mean, it evolves. I went into it thinking, and by the way, I don't direct the folks who I don't direct the extras because that's a SAG no, and I would never do that. But the first AD, Angie Meyer, our first AD, directs them, and then Nito Larioza, who's our amazing movement coordinator. I had a lot of help. Again, the word collaboration is a very important one. I had a lot of help, but we kind of. You know, it doesn't spring full blown on day one of the shooting. I, for instance, I thought all of these people should talk in perfect unison, and I thought a lot when I was writing this thing about Cirque du Soleil. If you guys have ever been to a Cirque du Soleil show, these things it's amazing what human beings can do when they are in perfect lockstep. The Marine Corps drill team. If you ever do yourself a favor, look them up on YouTube when they've got those M1 rifles and they're walking in a straight line and one guy flips it up in the air and they don't even look and the guy behind him catches it. Like if you it's got a bayonet on the end of this thing. It's like human beings can do this, but not on a TV schedule. So it takes quite a lot of effort and practice. And I thought, but then also. Then we can fudge it in the editing room. We can make everybody in a crowd speak in perfect unison, but we found it not particularly pleasing. It got too robotic. There's a sweet spot with this thing, and we're still dialing it in. We'll be dialing it in season 2, no doubt. But it's because it's something Ray said a minute ago. You don't want these people being robotic. They are not robots. They are not aliens. Davis Taffler said we're not aliens. He's telling the truth, but it's we learned as we went, but that again is the thing. I when I learned to embrace this years and years ago on previous shows, previous jobs, the idea that people bring things. I'm sorry, I make this thing pop. You talk real good into this thing.
I feel like I'm really loud.
I'm making this thing pop a lot. Sorry. Anyway. It's collaborative, and if you keep your mind open to the stuff everybody brings, the ideas people bring, doesn't mean you got to accept everything unconditionally and without any kind of subjectivity. You can't say every idea is great and you got to try everything. You just don't have time. But if you when ideas would come from anybody, any quarter, about how to portray, for instance, these others, I've been an idiot not to listen to them. And it evolved as it went, and it will continue to evolve, no doubt.
But like when you have another actor come in, in a different episode, and they're playing another of the others who is not Zosha, in theory they're the same person as Zosha because they're, we as us, they're all the same. Yeah. Are you asking them though to give the same performance as Karolina, or do you want something different out of them?
Good question. No, I mean, no, they're really, it's so weird because it's like it'll break your brain trying to understand but it's sort of like when you think about, if you were a two-dimensional being and try to picture the third dimension, or we as three-dimensional beings, fourth dimension being time, what is the fifth dimension like?
It's the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, so it's like, what is it like? You can't, we know this from hours, days, weeks of experience in the writer's room, trying to picture what it's like being joined. I finally gave up and said, you got to leave it to the audience. So from the point of view of how do you direct this stuff, how should you tell the actors to play it, I came to realize you want them to bring their individuality to it, even though story-wise they are the same, a piece of the same individual. Nonetheless, it's just, you don't want, again, there's got to be a certain amount of showmanship. You don't want to, if you don't want them all playing the exact same beats or emotions. It's just, there is, if you look closely, there's more individuality than you would think at first.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the thing is, it's that we talked about what is happiness to them, what like happiness, joy, serenity, and bring their version to it, and that's where the individuality would come in, right? Yeah. So that was kind of a thing, and yeah.
The short answer is tough as hell. I mean,
it is. It's
tricky as hell. You got a tough job.
Yeah.
But you also were explaining to us, and it comes up in the show. It's hinted at already in the first 2 episodes, but it continues. Is that I don't think I'm using this word correctly, but I'm going to go for it. Corporally, they are still themselves. The mind meld is not the same as like whatever if you had a limp before, or if you had a lisp, or if you there are proclivities and distinctions that remain yours that are different than the mind meld.
Yeah, if you're left-handed before, you're still left-handed.
Yeah. Yes.
Like that kind of thing.
And so I thought it was amazing that you chose to not use AI or CGI to have all these.
Yeah.
To have all these background. I wasn't looking for that, but thank you. But because they are individual, even when they are walking en masse in something, they walk the way each of them walks. It's not a robotic synced thing. And I remember you did tell me in post when they say, what's the first thing they say at the ER? Hey, Carol, we want to...
we just want to help Carol.
We just want to help Carol.
Yeah, right.
You could have made it perfectly synced in post, and you told me when you did that at first, because it's very hard to do because people are at different distances and even sound can't make it synced. And you said it was creepier, not perfect.
Yeah, and also more clear as well. That the clarity is a big issue when you have 100 people saying the same exact sentence. Clarity in the mix becomes an issue. You want the audience to be able to understand what the hell they just said. So it's it's a case by case thing, and we're still finding it. Yeah.
So, Vince, you do not like AI. How much of the idea of the
I
joint?
didn't purposely bring that up. I'm so sorry, Vince.
No. We will be spending the next 45 minutes discussing Vince Gilligan's feelings on AI. Watching the show, it did feel at times when you hear, Zosha or some of the other members of the joint speak, it feels almost like someone's trying to have a conversation with ChatGPT. And I'm wondering
I wouldn't know. I don't know what that's like. Okay. No one's held a shotgun to my head yet to make me use the thing. So.
I guess what I'm wondering is, was that one of the things percolating in your head, this idea of like, if you just amalgamate all of human knowledge, this is what kind of spits out?
And the short answer, not really, because I came up with this idea, that the beginnings of this idea like 10 years ago, and at least. And I was not thinking of, I mean, the term AI. There was a movie called AI that Steven Spielberg directed way before 10 years ago. But the current AI that everybody's talking about, embodied by, when Chat GPT hit the market, that was way before I came up with this idea. I think it's great for people to read whatever you guys choose to read into what this show means. I feel like on Breaking Bad, I spent too much time saying to people, I think it means this, and I think what Walt was really saying was that I don't want to do that on this one, because I want people, to start with, I want people to have honest discussions amongst each other, saying, is this a good thing or a bad thing? The world of this show, is it good? I've been saying a lot in interviews that I love The Walking Dead, I love The Last of Us, I love shows and movies like that about zombies and whatnot, the Omega Man, I Am Legend, every version. But when you are watching The Walking Dead or The Last of Us, to use those two examples, as riveting as those shows are, there is no doubt in your mind as an audience member that you do not want to turn into a mushroom person or a zombie. I mean, there is no possibility for argument there, and that's as by design. That's as it should be. I like the idea of turning that trope on its ear with this show, such that the audience can say, is it all bad? I mean, on the face of it, if we are to take them at their word, they are profoundly, peacefully happy. Who the hell wouldn't want that? So I don't want to, does it smack of AI? Does it smack of COVID-19, the pandemic we all went through? You can make all those, you could draw all those parallels, and more power to you if you do, but I wasn't necessarily thinking about any of those things, and I defer to the viewers to come up with whatever meaning they choose to put to it.
Now, Ray, when Carol meets the other sort of individuals who have not been affected, most of them still have family members, and Lakshmi sort of thinks that her son is still her son and is not her gynecologist, as you very cleverly point out. Have you given any thought to how Carol would have responded to all of this if Helen had not died in the process?
Totally thought you were going somewhere else with the gynecologist clause in there. I was like, I don't know. Have you given thought to if your gynecologist was a child? But I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
It was heading somewhere.
It could have, but gone there. We can answer that too. But
You got to lower the seat first.
Right. There's a lot. Right.
I guess
we need different size gloves. There's a lot that goes on with that.
I just mean, the others seem to be okay with it in part because they have, loved ones who are still with them, acting like they're loved ones even though they're not really anymore. Do you think if there was, a joined version of Helen, Carol would be okay with that?
I do not.
Okay.
And let me tell you why. Because I hadn't thought about it. I just thought about it now. That's my answer. But I do have reasons why, which is two things. When we were doing the Air Force One scene when she's trying to solicit help, and Vince was very helpful to me in those moments, reminding me that she's the ultimate reluctant hero. Carol's going there hoping that she's just going to sign up to bring cups and plates to the revolution, not lead it, and no one's going to do anything. But she's trying to convince them with every tactic she can think of, right? The barn's on fire. Everybody wake up. Your son is not your son. Emotional pleading with the Darinka character. Is that her name? The character? Darinka, yeah. Okay.
Kusamayu.
Kusamayu, thank you. Played by
Darinka,
Darinka,
yeah.
sorry. And I said, how come she never plays the card of my wife died? I do know the pain you guys are talking about. I am coming from this I'm coming at this from a compassionate place, and these people took something from me, even when confronted with Lakshmi saying you killed my grandfather, which she's horrified by. And Vince said, too private, too sacred. She won't play that card. And I was like, okay. And then when I couple that with the idea that I think that one of the many things that she loved about her amazing wife and everything that you brought to it Miriam is that she was uniquely her, uniquely calling Carol on her shit, uniquely loving Carol despite her other crap. And if you had told her, and this subject comes up in little sprinkled ways throughout the series, what is it to be loved uniquely versus what is it to be loved because everyone loves you? And she wanted to be uniquely loved. And Helen gave her that. And for Helen to just be one of everybody, I think would have crushed her.
And you just
Great
thought this
answer.
up now. Sign of a good actor. I understand you built the cul-de-sac. Why would you build a cul-de-sac?
I have to stress, I did not build it. I drew. I literally.
Single-handedly built the cul-de-sac.
I drew a drawing with a Sharpie on basically a cocktail napkin and held it up on a Zoom call to Denise Pizzini, our production designer. And I said, please build this. And 9 months later, they had built it. And it was amazing, but I couldn't resist. I had the original piece of paper, and it looked like a comma. There's the cul-de-sac and the street, because you can't make a street go off straight if it ends. You got to have it curve off so you don't see that it ends. And mine curved off to, in the drawing, mine curved off to the left, and hers curved off to the right. And I said, it's really good, but can you make the curve of the street match? I was just messing with her. It's astounding. It's astounding what they did. And Steve Brown, our construction coordinator, and I'm drawing a blank on the gentleman who was another guy came in, wonderful builder, Bill came in. It was astounding going to visit this thing. It's humbling. You go to visit this thing, and there's a crew of people. I mean, just they're out there in all kinds of weather, and these are real houses. This is not some kind of old Wild West movie, Western, where the facades are held up with 2x4s. These are real houses. They only lack power and sewer and plumbing, but I mean, that could be added in. But they are real. They have to be built to. And the city of Albuquerque is fantastic for letting us do it, but they have to be built to code because the winds out there are insane. And, you can't have it get blown into the next county and hurt somebody. But the reason to do it was not just to say, hey, bragging rights. The reason to do it is because, as you, not to give down spoiler alert, but you're going to see Carol's Neighborhood a lot more in episodes 3 through 9 and beyond, I'm sure. Nobody would allow, we shot Walter White's house. That was a real house, and thank God the wonderful couple who owned that house put up with us for 6 seasons of Breaking Bad. But all it would take in a neighborhood situation is one person, and they wouldn't be an asshole for doing it. They after 2 or 3 episodes, you say, I'm tired of helicopters hovering over my house. I'm tired of this and that and the other happening. Sometimes at 3 a.m, I'm tapping out here. You can't pay me enough to make me let you shoot one more episode. You got to build something like this. You absolutely can't shoot in a real neighborhood. I mean, when you see some of the shit that's coming up after this, it's just like there's like no way. You gotta use the real thing. So I mean, I said that completely wrong. You gotta build something that looks like the real thing, but you have to be able to own it 100% always. So yeah.
Now, Ray, I want to talk about your workload because you're not in every scene in these episodes because it's the opening with the signal in the lab and everything, and then the second episode we meet Zosha, but you're in a lot of it. You're in a lot of scenes where it's just you or it's you interacting with people who are not responding back to you. You're carrying Miriam in and out of the truck. You're digging a grave in the second episode. It's a lot of hours and a lot of physical effort. What was that like having to do this much? And in later episodes, you're on screen even more than in these two. How are you still alive?
I was proud of you. It was very physical. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Heather Bonomo is an absolute artist of a stunt double. But Vince does the shots mostly where you can see my face, so I had to do a lot. But she's incredible and watches me and thinks about performance and thinks about the objective in it, so that even if they could give me a small break when they go to the wide, to not run on the 36th take and have her run, she has been sitting there for hours watching where my hands were and the way I ran and if I was tense with my shoulders up or down. And she's really incredible.
She's really good.
She's amazing. So if they could just keep me front, because I remember I was like, I'll be okay lifting the sandwich board. Can we talk about it, Miriam? She was a tiny, petite whisper of a thing. But to build the sandwich board, to make sure it wasn't, that it was sturdy enough that she wouldn't get hurt and fall through it or off of it, they girded it with 1,000 pounds of steel. I don't know what was going on.
It was insanely heavy.
It was.
Yeah. I know. I thought, and I was like, can you make this out of carbon fiber or something? But it was like square steel tubing, and it probably weighed. It must have weighed 50, 60 pounds. Yeah. I mean,
easily. It was probably,
maybe
it was
more. Yeah.
I would say more. I felt like it was 60 to 80 pounds. And then she's like 40. So then we added that. And, we did what is it called? A Texas, you ended up not using it, but it was so cool.
Oh, no, it's in there.
Is
there's so many.
Oh, tell them about that.
There's 2 great Texas swaps in there.
Do you know what a Texas swap is? I did not know what this is.
I have no idea.
Okay.
It's where, for instance, Ray runs out of the tavern, and she's like, what the hell am I going to do? She throws the phone down because it's not working. She grabs a signboard, and then she rolls it out of frame, and then Heather rolls it right. Heather was waiting right off camera, rolls it right in.
Right? It's her coming back to the left and me going to the right.
But the best Texas swap of all, if you watch it again, it's when you pull up back up the pickup truck to get Miriam into the back of the pickup truck. You commandeer the pickup truck, you shove the guy in there, and then Miriam was lying there. So, and you probably could have done it, but we weren't. Heather's that's what she does. So it's Heather backing up the pickup truck fast, stopping short of Miriam. And then she runs out of the pickup truck, and I swear to God, we looked at it on the Avid, frame by frame. She disappears. The frame after she disappears, you come in. It was like, and then you come. It was like the best Texas swap in the history of the world. It was amazing. Yeah. So that's that. In other words, the stunt woman does the driving. Heather does the driving, backs up, runs, and she's kind of bananaing out of frame. There's no reason to have her leave frame other than we got to make the swap. It then you come right back in. It was a thing of beauty. It was amazing.
Wow, that's so cool.
So there was that, and then I just want to say this. Thank you for the compliment, and it was 14 to 16 hours a day for the better part of 10 months every single day, with the exception of a couple days, and I'm including makeup and hair and my prep, and then you do your homework at home. It's everything I've worked for in my whole life and everything I love to do. Being on the highest level it could be done. That's why you can do it. Yeah. And then additionally, it's a dream. It's an absolute dream come true. It is not lost on me that most people will never get to do what they love, let alone get to do what they love for a living, let alone get to do this kind of work. And then my crew, and I've told this story before, but there was a night when I was just like, I gotta pull it together. It was like 6 weeks of night shoots, and I'm just trying to catch a breath. And we were shooting, dragging you back up into the door, and we were going the next night. And you were reminding me, we were at a level 14, so we have to match that. You've got to start at that level, and we were trying to figure that out and or do it. And I was like, okay. Think about this and that and these, and I just took a second. And Jules, a camera assist that we have, he was changing my mark at the front door, and they're shooting this big exterior. The sun's coming up. We're chasing darkness, trying to keep it in the cul-de-sac. And Jules taps my foot, and because he could just see me just trying to dig deeper, and he said, we all got you, right? It meant the world to me. Fella. And I looked up, and I saw this Kara Walker art of black silhouettes, the cutout silhouettes of about 250 people doing their job against the sun coming up. And I was like, I ran away with the circus. Like, this is the best. This is everything. That's it.
I love that story. I've heard that one before. I love that story. Yeah, that's a good one.
Vince, why did you want Carol to be a romantasy author? And do you have feelings on the genre in general?
These are his favorite books.
There's no, I would tell you if there was it was because of this and it related to that. It just felt right. It just felt, it was definitely not a put down or a ding on folks doing that for a living. I like the idea of a writer being tasked reluctantly tasked with saving the world, because there is no one less equipped to save the world than a writer. I could say that with certainty. But I thought, okay, it's a writer. It could be a screenwriter. It could be there's a lot of different kinds of writing. I thought, maybe I thought romantasy it'd be fun to shoot in a Barnes and Noble, and Barnes and Noble was cool. They were like, they let us shoot there in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I think there's 2 of them there, and we shot in the bigger one. And it just, I don't know, I don't really have a good answer. It was definitely not any kind of smirky kind of meant as any kind of a put down or anything. It just, they seem like they've got cool fans, fun fans, and I don't know, it just felt right. Yeah.
Okay, we've got a few minutes left. We're going to take some questions provided from the audience in advance. I swear I did not write this one myself, even though I'm currently doing a book about Rod Serling. But Vince and Ray, you've both said that some of the inspiration for Pluribus came from the Twilight Zone. What's a favorite episode, and what impact, if any, has it had on your life or career?
Want me to take that one? Yes. Twilight Zone is, I don't like picking favorites in anything. Favorite food, favorite color, favorite. But if I had to pick a favorite, the TV show ever, I would say Twilight Zone, the original Twilight Zone. I would love to have met, I would have loved to have met Rod Serling. He died in 50 years ago, 1975. This died very young. He just turned 50. I would love to have met him. Yeah, yes. Yeah. He was he lived an amazing life.
Smoked 4 packs a day.
Yeah,
don't do that.
And he was he had a tough time. He was an Army paratrooper in the Pacific in World War II, and he saw some awful things, and he had some war injuries, and the great. I got to meet Tom Brokaw one time, and I said, Mr. Brokaw, I love the phrase you coined, the greatest generation. I think about that generation, and I think about. I got way off on a tangent. Anyway, but he was a member of the greatest generation. I have the utmost respect for the work he did. I love that show, and I could name all the obvious ones everybody knows. I'll mention one no one ever talks about, The Grave. Montgomery Pittman. It was a rare one that Rod Serling did not write. It was the only time an episode of Twilight Zone was written and directed by the same person, a guy named Montgomery Pittman. Pittman. Montgomery Pittman. It's got an amazing cast. Lee Marvin, Strother Martin, James Best, Lee Van Cleef. It's shot beautifully. I won't tell you what happens because I don't want to give it away, but that's just one. I got so many favorites, but that's one no one ever hears about.
And there is a connection between Carol and the Twilight Zone.
Yes. Thank you. Carol Sturka, the name of our character. Carol from Carol Burnett, who I got to see just yesterday, was one of our favorite people in the world. I think I'm safe to say that, right? So Carol is from Carol Burnett, who sends her love. And Sturka is from an episode called Third from the Sun. Yeah. Is that the official title?
Third from the Sun.
Third from the Sun. It's another great episode. Fritz Weaver. Fritz Weaver's character is a
We'll be getting off Twilight Zone in a second. Don't worry.
But
it's on the card. I had to ask what was on the card.
Fritz Weaver plays a character. Great episode. Talk about a guy who was told by the powers that be, you can't talk about the bomb, you can't talk about race relations, you can't talk about this, that, and the other. And he figured a way to do it through allegory, through science fiction, instead of hitting it just head on. And he made it work for the ages. But Fritz Weaver's characters. I can't remember his first name, but his last name is Sturka. And I looked up. I just liked the name, and I looked it up on the internet, and I couldn't find any Sturkas out there. I couldn't find them other than in regard to the episodes. I figured Carol Sturka. So yeah.
Okay. Back to Pluribus. What would each of you do if you were in Carol's position where you had billions of people there to cater to your every whim if you wanted them to?
It's a great question. I would love to go to Antarctica.
But I keep saying you can do that now.
Yeah, but not.
I'll
but
send
then
you there
They will
myself.
take you on this sweet plane. They will land you, make you yummy food. You go hang out with the penguins. They'll pick you up whenever you want. You go diving. You hang out with all
There are
these
tour
wild.
groups that you can do
There's-
this with.
But no,
we
but the
don't
thing
need an
is-
apocalyptic event. For
Yes,
that
but they
to
will be.
happen.
They will treat you nice and do whatever you want. They'll maybe like make me some delicious sushi.
It's
like
called the
I
Four
don't know,
Seasons.
like. I don't know if they have it on Antarctica, and it's yeah. So I think I would love to go on some crazy expedition and have some awesome time in Antarctica, hang out. I don't know. That would be my. Sorry, that would be my.
Well, that's a good one. That's a good one.
It's one of my dreams to go. So one of.
I do want to shout out to, because I do think that some people will watch the show and say I would be a Diabate, and that's Samba Shuta is freaking brilliant as Diabate.
He's
In the
hilarious.
second. Hilarious. And there's something to be said for listening to the music while the Titanic crashes. Like, you know, when I thought about that question, because I did think about it, for what I would personally do, like I actually came in it from such a different direction of like, what could everybody do for me, as opposed to like, if I knew I was about to lose my independent thought, I thought I would watch. Maybe this is sad. I would watch as many films and shows as I could watch and read as many books as I could read, because the idea of never being surprised by another thought again and never having a belly laugh at being surprised, to me sounds like hell. So that's what I would do.
That's good.
That's a good one.
What about you, Vince?
If I was unmarried and in my 20s again, it'd be a very different answer. But I will give the ultimate nerdy answer. But this would be awesome, and I don't know how you could do this now unless you had the help of the others. There was a plane, the most amazing plane that ever flew, the SR-71. There's if you go to the Intrepid museum, there's one on the flight deck. You can go visit it. It stopped flying in 1992, but it flew. It cruised at like 90,000 feet at Mach 3 plus, and it doesn't fly anymore. And the others could get one working again. There was a 2-seat model. They could take me up in it. That would be. You have to wear a spacesuit in it. You literally, if you touch, if you touch the inside without a glove on, touch the inside of the canopy when it's flying along, it's 600 degrees, like a pizza oven, just from the air friction on the canopy. This thing was amazing. I don't know why we don't build shit like this anymore, but it first flew in like 1962. They designed it with slide rules. I would go up in that thing. I'd say, get one of those things working again. That would be, of course, if I was Elon Musk, I'd do the same thing. He could probably get one going again, but he's got the dough. But that would be friggin' awesome. I would do that.
Would you want to pilot it? Would you want to learn how to pilot it as well?
I wouldn't.
You just want to fly in it.
I would like to, but I don't have the intelligence or bandwidth. But I'd let me take it for a while maybe. But I'd be better to have someone else flying it. It'd be safer.
I would immediately want AC. Like, I would just like the air conditioning. That's too hot. That sounds way too hot.
Well, the spacesuit is they got air. I mean, it's temperature controlled. I'd make sure they got that part right. Yeah. Also, they'd need some kind of tube for the vodka, that you'd have some kind of astronaut tube.
Right. Just the beer hat thing, but with vodka.
Yes, inside the spacesuit.
Finally, Vince, we live in sort of an age where everything has to be based on IP. Everything has to come from a brand name. This is an original idea. Yay. It has been sold on the original idea. It has been sold on you. And it debuted last night on Apple TV, and so many people were watching this show that they crashed Apple TV briefly. How did that feel?
It feels wonderful. It feels wonderful. This is going to sound like a weird thing to say. The honest answer to your question is, leaving that part aside, the specifically the part of the question, how does it feel to be able to create a show that is not based on IP, pre-existing intellectual property, and it feels obviously it feels wonderful to be allowed to do that. I feel very grateful. Feel like I won the lottery, and then I think about it, and I think it kind of makes me feel sad too, because it shouldn't be that exceptional, that special, an opportunity to get to create something new versus something that is IP. I feel like, I've been saying this a fair bit lately, and I'll say it again. Every generation deserves its own new myths to go, shoulder to shoulder along with the other ones. There's a wonderful continuity to us telling stories with characters that were originally invented in the time of our grandparents, great-grandparents, in some cases. It's great that there's a continuity of mythology, if you will, modern mythology with superheroes and with science fiction characters and whatnot. That's great. I think it's a big world out there. There's a lot of viewers, and it seems like every generation should get to create their own as well. And it seems like that stuff's getting crowded out. The original ideas there's just not that much room for them anymore in the business ecosystem, and that part makes me sad. So,
but maybe the hope is, if this show is as big a success as it certainly seemed last night, that it may give other people bravery to do the same thing.
I sure hope so. But from your mouth to God's ear, I hope so. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. The cast and creator of Pluribus.